Hey tag team, Allison Roberts here, and I am back with another tag. Tag means talk about grace. Today's tag theme is the new starting point. I have sometimes been in like a project, specifically like a home improvement project, and in the middle of it is like I feel like, boy, why me start this? Why me take on this? It's like I did not anticipate it being so much work or so much expense. And for the most part, generally, because you can't leave the place like that, I normally push through, and at the end I am pleased with the results. Sometimes it's like in life we feel like we want to actually turn back. You start on a journey. Specifically, what comes to mind, as I said, start on a journey. We were doing a hike some years ago, a hike to Hollywood, and we started on the journey, and it was okay. I'm a walker, I don't mind walking, but I have come to learn that there's an extreme difference in walking on flat surfaces like Emancipation Park or on the road versus doing a hike to Hollywood where you are doing hill walking. It's very, very different, and I learned that day. So I'm walking at my regular, walking pace. I was told by our guide that, it would take about half an hour. So being me to say, I'm gonna so fit, maybe it would take me an hour. So in my mindset, I'm walking at an hour pace. Ladies and gentlemen, this hike took me almost 4 hours to do. Yeah, let's not get into that. But there were opportunities along the way where the driver that took us to the starting point was doing his rounds up and down the hill, and several times he said, "Come, I'm gonna carry you up, man. Nobody not gonna know." And I'm like, no. This time the journey not even start or halfway to start, but I don't know this. I'm like, no, I'm gonna do this. And when I was at the point of no return, where we have entered the walking trails now, where there is no way that a vehicle can come up there and get you, the only way up is up or going back down. And that was at the point where fatigue and everything kicked in, and I'm like, jeez and please, why I never listen to the man and get into the vehicle. But the fact of the matter is, through the trials, there were so many motivators. There was this young man who could have run that hike, and he stuck with us around the back, and we took our time. He reminded us that it is one step after the next, and don't think about nothing else. I was not tired in terms of like breathing tired. I was tired in terms of like my legs, the life was leaving it. Yeah, that's how extreme the tiredness was. But it became a mental thing to complete that hike, and not necessarily a physical thing, because I had to say to myself, just if it take 3 days, if it take 4 days, if it take 1 hour, 2 hours, it's like a complete. So just walk one step at a time, and I put one foot in front of the next, thinking not beyond that step, and I made it. I made it to the top of the hill. I'm like, yeah, maybe never again. You never know, but in the state that I'm at, knowing that never again, but I made it, and I felt accomplished. And a lot of times we want to turn back in the middle of whatever trials we are facing, in the middle of a project, and when you look at it, turning back in the middle, there's so many wasted resources. If when I started that home project, I had said, yo, I'm not gonna do it, think about all the money that I've spent already on labor material, plus the thing would have just been left. No, I could not have lived like that. And so we need to know that it makes no sense trying to turn back in the middle. It makes no sense trying to turn back in the middle. I suggest that we just push forward. And what I learned along the journey is, even if you feel like you want to give up, you can look at that very moment as a fresh start. At the point where it became a mental game versus a physical game, it was my fresh start. And at that point, I had more information that would have helped me to get through that hike. At the beginning, I thought it was just an hour hike. I can walk for an hour easy, that's okay. And that's the mindset that I started the journey with. But when the trials and the tribulation come down on me, it was like so different, and I'm like, I can't do this. But I knew that I could not just lay there and waste away on the hillside. I had to get to a destination, and so it became a new starting point, knowing my limitations and knowing that it would have taken much more than I originally thought it would. But with all of that information, I was able to just say, you know what, one step at a time. I'm encouraging us tag team that nobody start over with the mindset that, boy, I'm gonna give up and another time I will do it. No, you know at your new starting point have new information, you have new tools that will allow you to be successful and to get greater success than when you originally started. And we can relate this to our Christian walk, we can relate this to many things for those people who are on, you know, a health kick, and whether it's nutrition that you need to improve. Know that you're doing it another time. Know that you're starting over. You are starting over with information gathered from your first failed attempts, and also you're starting with information to know that it takes more than you had thought, or that you are now able to do this with greater understanding of what it takes. As if you had success in the past, you can focus on what were the things that you did to be successful and use that as your new starting point. For people who are athletic and may have had an injury, they have been at the pinnacle of their game, now they're injured, they can use all the techniques and the knowledge that they've garnered in training to help in the recovery process. And so as people of God who may have fallen off or gotten frustrated with just life and trying to live a life pleasing to Christ, at this point in time, there's no turning back. It don't make sense. You've spent so much time, you've invested so much in a relationship, you've seen and you've tasted, so there is no turning back. So for you now, it is to say, no, God, can we start again? It is okay to start again, and know that you're starting at a different point. You now have knowledge of time on your hand, experience on your hand that will help to propel you further. As an adult starting over, you do not lose what you learned before with that failed experiment, that failed experience. No, you have greater knowledge that will help to propel you, and certain steps you can skip. Think about it. I remember in college when I did A-level economics, when I went into my econ class, and we had a teacher of a different ethnicity, and I was not able to understand her clearly. There was a communication blockage based on her accent, and the first thing I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do the class here. I didn't have to, because I did A-level econ. I was able to be exempt from that class, and so I had free time. So therefore, there are certain things that you are able to skip because of prior experience when you're starting over. In college is a new thing, so it's starting over, but the experience and the knowledge I gained in high school enabled me to skip an entire class. And so when we look at it as the value in the things that we've experienced, whether it's good or bad, if it's a failure, that failure will help you to know what not to do. So people of God, don't give up or turn back. You can start again, and you are starting from a new vantage point. So have a great week, tag team. Bless you know, tomorrow is my birthday and I'll be celebrating, taking gifts. So I am grateful for, you know, just this year of being able to share with you guys these tags. And so continue to support, continue to listen, and if it blesses you, continue to leave a comment, subscribe, and like. God bless you, and know that with the knowledge that you gain when you start over, you will propel. Have an awesome week. Bless you.